Hi everyone. In this bite-sized bit, we are going to create a program that uses a user-defined class called products, which we will then use to store and retrieve information about the products that a particular company might offer for sale. Let's go ahead and get started. The user interface for this program is going to consist of two forms. The first form is going to display all of our current products in a list box, and then we'll have buttons that allow us to either add new products or delete existing products or exit the program. You'll note I've already created this form. I am using a different naming convention for our list box. I'm using LBX as my three-letter prefix. And the reason why I'm doing that is we're also going to use lists in this program, and I'm going to use LST as the prefix for the list in the data behind the scenes, but I'm going to use LBX for the object on our form. Just trying to keep the two things separate. I've created my LBX products, which is currently an empty list box on my form, and I've created three buttons: a BTN add product, a BTN delete product, and a BTN exit. Our second form is going to be an FRM new product form, and it consists of three text boxes with their corresponding labels, a save button, and a cancel button. The text boxes are called TXT code, TXT description, and TXT price. The buttons, BTN save and BTN cancel. I haven't written any code for any of these forms. I've just gotten the visualizations out of the way before we started the video. The first thing we're going to do for this project is create our own user-defined class. This is outside of the forms that we've created. This is going to be something we use to store data and then retrieve that data for our forms. And we talked about this in the Chapter 12 lecture, so you may want to go back and refer to that video. To create a new class in your program, you're going to want to go to the Project menu and choose Add Class. There are multiple ways of doing this, but finding the Add Class choice in the Project menu is the easiest way of doing so. You'll be prompted to type the name of your class, and feel free to type over the .cs because C# will re-add it for you. I'm going to name this class Product with a capital P. After a few moments, you'll see the new class show up in your Solution Explorer. Note the icon is a C# icon because this is not a form. This is a section of your program where you're storing code, but you're not actually representing something visual. Because I created this class inside this particular project, it has the same namespace as the rest of our project. Mine is Boone Ted Product Maintenance. And then I have an empty class that we're about to fill in. The first thing I'm going to do is create three private local variables for this class. A string variable for code, a string variable for description, and a decimal variable for price. We're going to store information about specific instances of our products in these three variables. These variables are private. The outside user will never be able to see the information that is directly inside these variables. And that is one of the advantages of creating a class, is that we can mask or hide some of the information that is stored in that class from the user. The next thing we're going to do is create constructors for our product class. And we're going to have two different constructors for this particular class. The first one is creating a product that receives no initial information. And when that happens, we don't expect any parameters to be passed in, and we don't do anything with any information because we haven't received any. The second constructor expects to receive three pieces of information: a code, a description, and a price. And when we receive that information, we're going to store it in three different properties: .code, .description, and .price. You'll note at the moment I have errors for those three properties because I haven't defined them yet in the class, but we're about to do so. This program is going to have three different properties that will be publicly available to the outside user. this is how we will surface information to the user about our products. So if the user refers to product.code, we will show that user the code information. And you can see that I have programmed our .code property, where when the user asks for information, we retrieve it from our private strcode variable and show it to them. When the user gives us information in terms of a value, we'll store it in our private variable strcode. We'll do something almost identical for description. We create a dot property called description. When the user asks for information, we retrieve it from our private variable. When the user provides information, we store it in our private variable. And finally, we create our dot price property. It is type decimal, not type string, but the idea is still the same. The user can either retrieve our price from a specific instantiation of our product, or they can provide a price which we'll store in our private DEC price variable. The last thing that we'll add to this class is a method, and this method is actually going to receive an overload version of it. So there are two ways that this method can be called. The first way that the getDisplayText method can be called is the user not specifying a separator. And if they don't give us that information, we will use a comma and a space as the default separator between our code, our price formatted as currency, and our description. However, if the user does provide a separator, we will return our code and then a separator, and then our price formatted as currency, and then a separator, and then the description. So if the user calls getDisplayText and specifies a semicolon or a comma or a vertical line or the letter Q, we will represent their information as a phrase with their appropriate separator in between the code and the price and the description. Now that we've created our product class, we can use it anywhere else in our program. So we can refer to a product. We can then store information in the properties, .code, .description, .price. We can retrieve that information from those properties, and we can use the getDisplayText method anywhere we'd like. Let's go back to our forms and start using our product class. I'm going to start with our product maintenance form. Let's go ahead and reveal the code by clicking on our View Code button in our Solution Explorer. I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new product. The type of object I'm going to create is a product object. So rather than string or decimal or double for a data type, I'm going to start typing the word product. You'll notice when I type the capital P, I see product show up in my IntelliSense. My program recognizes that product is now a class that's available for us to use. So I can hit the tab key to fill in that word. Then I can type the name of our product. I'm going to call this one product 1. And then I can set it equal to a new instantiation of our product class. And if you'll recall, there are two ways to create a new product. We could create a new product that's empty, or if we chose the second option, we can fill in its specific properties at the very beginning. And that's what I'm going to choose to do. The short code for this product is going to be VS15. The description is going to be Visual Studio 2015. And the price is going to be $59.50. And it's type decimal, so I'm going to include the M. Let's create a second product. A Java textbook with the abbreviation JV19 and a price of $69.99. Eventually, when we finish this program, we won't be hard coding our products. We'll be retrieving them from an external database, but we're going to be doing that in a later video. We're going to create a list, and the type of information that's going to be stored in the list is not a single data type, but rather an object type, product. The name of the list is LST products, and it's going to be a new instantiation of a list of products. At the moment, this will be empty, but eventually we'll fill this in. Notice that each individual entry for our list will actually have 3 different dot properties and 1 method associated with it. We're not storing a single piece of information in each position in the list. We're storing an individual product in each position, and each product has multiple features associated with it, properties and methods. Now let's go ahead and tackle the form load method for this particular form. I'm going to double click on my form, and I'm going to add some code to get everything ready to go. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add product 1 and product 2 to my list of products. And then I'm going to write some code that fills in our list box on our form. But I'm going to do so with a user-defined method that is going to be called fill product list box. And of course that method doesn't exist yet, so you will get a syntax error. But let's go ahead and create that method now. The first thing the fill product list box does is it clears out any information that might already be in the list box. If we're running this method for our form load, the list box should be empty, but we might be using this method in other places. So just to be on the safe side, let's clear the list box. The next thing we're going to do is use a for each loop to get all of the products that are in our list of products one at a time from the first to the last, temporarily store them in an object called product, and then add each one of them one at a time to our list box. So listboxproducts.items.add will add things to our list box. We're adding each individual product, and you'll note that we're going to take advantage of each product's getDisplayText method. So when we grab the first product, which for us was Visual Studio 2015, we're going to use its getDisplayText to show its code, its price, and its description, in this case, each separated by the tab key. Then we would load the second product, ours was Java 2019, we would use its getDisplayText method to show its information, also delimited by tab keys. And we would do this for every product we have in our list. Let's go ahead and test the code that we've written so far. I'm going to go ahead and click Start. The result of the code that we've written so far is a product maintenance form that loads our 2 products, our Visual Studio 2015 book and our Java 2019 book, into our list box on our form from our list in our code. Each one is loading the information based upon the getDisplayText method that separates the code and the price and the description with a tab key, and then displays that information inside the list box. Before I forget, I'm going to add the code for my exit button, which is simply to close the form. And then we're going to leave the product maintenance form for now. We'll come back to it to add code for the add products button or delete products button once we've written some additional code for our new product form. And we're going to tackle the new product form in another video. So that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.